In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. At this time, we would ask that you adopt the agenda with the removal of item 2 from presentations.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert? Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman?
Moving into a period of public.
Yes,
Oh, I'm sorry.
let the
sorry.
record show
And
that
Mr.
I am
McDowell?
present. Yes, that I am present.
At this time, any public input can be received related to items on the agenda that do not require the public hearing. There will be a time later for the public hearing-related items. And at this time, Mayor, I think we may have a few individuals signed up to speak.
Yes.
Yes, we do. Gabriel signed up for item 33.
Is that part of the?
Oh, that might be
public
part of it.
hearing? So there's none that are part of the.
Oh, none that are part of it.
So I'm thinking there aren't any others, Mayor. Okay?
My apologies.
That's okay. Thank you. Approval of minutes, number 1. Council is asked to approve the February 6th and 20th, 2024 work session and February 20th, 2024 council meeting minutes.
So moved.
Got a motion, is there a second? Second. Got a motion and a second, any further discussion, changes, comments, questions? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk, would you read the
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes,
Mayor Rickaman? Thank you.
Presentations, item number 3, the Finklin Pharmacy Proclamation, the Honorable Tina N. Herbert.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson. I don't know if any of you all are familiar with the Finklin Pharmacy that's been on North Main Street for almost 37 years, a little over 37 years. It's very dear and close to my heart, my very best friend, if I could say so. Got his career started there, and now he's traveling all over the place. And he's a Raider, by the way, and very, very, very successful. And I've been watching the family all of these years, and they are closing after 37 years of service. And so I wanted to acknowledge them. I'm going to ask Michael Finklin to just come and stand. He doesn't have to speak. He made sure that I understood that. But I just want to give you all a couple of highlights. Finklin Pharmacy, a family-owned local pharmacy, has been a staple in the community for over 37 years. It was founded by Leon Finklin. Leon Finklin was the valedictorian of the 1967 class of Jefferson High School. He earned his undergraduate degree in Albany State University, and he graduated from the University of South Carolina with a Bachelor of Science in Pharmacy in 1972. He was a member of the Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity and a founding member of the Zeta Epsilon chapter at the University of South Carolina. He and his wife, Linda, had 2 kids, Michael and Jeremy. And Michael and Jeremy both have worked in the family business. He first started out as the medicine shop under a franchise, but then was able to have his own independently owned Finklin Center. And then we had the pleasure of him joining where is Felicia? I can't see. Joining us at the North Main Plaza. He came there in 2016 and was welcomed by the community representatives from Jim Clyburn's office, and of course, members of City Council. And So we wanted to recognize you all as you close. You have contributed so much to the community, and I will read the last sentence, which I think is the most important. As a family pharmacy, Finkland Pharmacy cared about their customers and made visiting their pharmacy convenient. Finkland Pharmacy strived to be the local pharmacy that the community could depend on to keep prices competitive and fill prescriptions in a timely manner. Finkland Pharmacy took enormous pride in being a neighborhood pharmacy that supported the community and knew their customers by name and treated them like family. Therefore, on behalf of Mayor Rickerman, we do declare today, March 19, as Finkland Pharmacy Day. And Michael Pharmacy, Michael Finkland will be receiving this on behalf of Finkland Pharmacy. Thank you very much. Come on, everybody.
Thank you, Councilwoman Herbert. Our next presentation is item number 4, the Social Work Month Proclamation, the Honorable Daniel J. Rickerman, Mayor.
I'm going to read the proclamation, and I'm going to let you have an opportunity to tell us a little bit about all the work y'all are doing, but introduce the young ladies with you, too.
Okay.
Professional social workers open the doors for access and opportunity for those in need through direct services, through assistance in obtaining services such as housing, transportation, meals, health care, and caregiver support. This year's social work theme, Empowering Social Workers, Inspiring Action, Leading Change, embodies the need for society to support social workers so that they can continue to do the life-affirming work and help address societal needs. Professional social workers use their education, training, and commitment to fix problems that some cannot and others hope they will simply go away. Professional social workers are dedicated advocates for change in policy, legislation to strengthen the safety nets, to make critical differences to so many, working daily to ensure that people of all ages, creeds, sexual orientation, and nationalities have access to adequate resources and services. And professional social workers throughout the Midlands are on the front lines in our communities every day, making a positive difference in the lives of our residents. So therefore, I, Daniel Rickerman, Mayor of City of Columbia, along with my council members who are here today, do hereby proclaim March 24th as Social Work Month throughout the City of Columbia, the Midlands area of South Carolina. Encourage all citizens to take the time to honor the professional social workers for their dedication to individuals, families, communities through legislation, advocacy, service delivery, research, and education. And I just want to take a minute to give y'all a hand and thank you so much for what y'all do. And I know there's a lot of other groups represented here, but the floor is yours, Ms. Simons.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I didn't know I was going to have to speak, but that's okay. Black girls in social work, like you mentioned, Mr. Mayor, social workers, we fix problems, we find solutions, and Black girls was a means of a solution. Within the social work field, it's just as any other community. There are problems, there are things that fall through the cracks. And as a new graduate, after I graduated with my Master's of Social Work, I realized that there was an issue and I wanted to find a solution. And the issue was that a lot of Black women within the social work field experienced a lack of community, a lack of support, and a lack of resources as we thrive within the profession. And so, in true social work fashion, I created just a Facebook group. That's all that we were at first. And then here in Columbia, South Carolina, we met for the very first time in 2018, and we had a self-care meetup just for burnout prevention and just to experience empowerment and connection. And to this day, we have grown to over 20,000 affiliates and members throughout the country. So just something that I started on a lunch break working for the Department of Social Services here in Richland County. We've grown to be so much more, and we provide professional development, personal growth, and networking opportunities to Black women in the community. And we are very honored to represent not just Black women in the community, but all social workers and change agents throughout the state of South Carolina and throughout the country. And so we really thank you for this recognition.
Absolutely. And Mr. Mayor, as you all are going to take the picture, I did, she didn't seem to want to get up there with the group, but our own now staff, on our staff, Master Social Worker, Kamisha Hepard. So it's a wonderful thing, yes. Okay. Can't even see Tina back there. Nice. Thank you, Mayor and Council. Item number 5, the Community Development Week proclamation, the Honorable Daniel J. Rickaman, Mayor. And Mayor, I'm going to go ahead and read for the record the additional 2 proclamations that are all related for the wonderful work in our Community Development Department, the National Fair Housing Month proclamation, and the National Financial Literacy Month proclamation.
So, where's our community development staff? Y'all get up here in the front. Come on, we got to celebrate y'all too. Come on, all you staff. Y'all don't get to
I don't know
hide.
why they're all holding back today, Mayor. What's going on?
Usually they're the first ones to jump in on a picture.
Exactly.
You know, I don't even know where to start because all of these are so important. And, you know, we don't have enough months to give everybody a month. We're going to have to start doing weeks because there's so many great reasons to celebrate. We just saw the Social Workers Month. We got National Community Development Week, Fair Housing Month, National Financial Literacy, which really intertwine. And First of all, on behalf of the city council, thank y'all for what y'all do day in and day out. Some of you are new, some of you have been doing it for a long time, but every day y'all are making a difference, and we're excited about the opportunities that are before us. But this gives us an opportunity to celebrate a little bit. I'm going to try to read a little bit of each one of these, because if I try to read all of these, I won't make it through the meeting. The week of April 1st through 5th, 2024 has been designated as National Community Development Week by the National Development Community Association to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Community Development Block Grant, which we continue to fight for every year, and we thank our congressional delegation for continuing to send money to us. And the 34th anniversary of Home Investment Partnerships in the HOME program. The program provides annual funding and flexibility to local communities to provide decent, safe, sanitary housing and a suitable living environment and economic opportunities, along with the HOME program that provides funding for local communities to create affordable housing opportunities for low income. And as y'all all know, in the city of Columbia, we need lots of units, and we're continuing to find creative ways. We've had an opportunity to visit other cities, not only with our staff, but our city manager and others from Atlanta to Charlotte, really to see what other cities are doing and how we can be creative. I just lost the lens. Be creative on housing and how we can make sure that everybody has an attainable opportunity in our community. Then I'm going to skip over to the Fair Housing Month real quick. The month of April has designated National Fair Housing Month to recognize and celebrate the 1968 passage of Title VIII of Civil Rights Act into law, which prohibited discrimination in the sale, rental, and financing of dwellings and in other house-related transactions based on race, color, national origin, religion, sex, family status, or handicap status, continuing to help countless thousands of Americans achieve the American dream of obtaining safe, decent, affordable housing. 56 years later, this landmark legislation has helped and continues to help countless thousands of Americans achieve the American dream of obtaining safe, affordable housing. You know, that's the other thing that we want to continue to grow in our community is housing. And in a city that has 53% rental, we really want to grow more home ownership and have more opportunities. And we're doing our part with the help of our partners and our relationships in P3 to bring some of those realities to life and get people into first-time home ownership, which, as we all know, is the quickest way to achieve generational wealth. Last is we got to tie in National Financial Literacy Month, dedicated to improving financial literacy in the effort to ensure that all Americans have access to trustworthy financial services and products. 2024 marks the 21st anniversary of April as the National Literacy Month, a milestone that underscores the timeless value of financial education in our rapid evolving economic landscape. Financial literacy can help families establish, maintain healthy financial habits to improve the quality of their life. Financial education to help citizens become more knowledgeable about finances and develop skills and strategies to manage personal finances, savings, and credit development, which we all know those come hand in hand to make sure that we're planning for the future. And we want to make sure that every citizen has an opportunity to participate and every citizen has an opportunity to have a place that's safe and affordable to live in our community. With that, Felicia, I'm going to turn it over to you before I present these three proclamations to you all.
Thank you, Mayor. You so eloquently read the proclamations and explained the reason why we're here today. But I do want to outline, we've got several events planned to celebrate National Community Development Week. Actually, it kicks off March 1st, April 1st, excuse me, is when the National Community Development Week kicks off. And we'll have a press conference scheduled at Hyatt Park on that day at 11 o'clock in the morning. And of course, we also have a day of service scheduled in partnership with the Columbia International University, the RAMServe organization. So staff members here will be partaking in a day of service. And then, of course, we have, and we want to certainly celebrate our 50th CDBG, which is Community Development Block Grant anniversary. That is a huge milestone that we're excited to celebrate because it has done so many wonderful things for the residents here in the city of Columbia. And we'll be celebrating this 50th celebration in partnership, collaboration with our CCN, which is the Columbia Council of Neighbors. So if we have any of the members here this afternoon, I would like for them to stand as well.
Come on, CCN, don't hide.
So staff and the members of Columbia Council of Neighbors have been working hard to plan this event. It's actually scheduled for April the 4th at the Columbia Alumni Center. It will start at 5:30, and of course, he'll partake and we'll celebrate, dance, eat real well, and it should wrap things up around about 8:30 that afternoon. So, but that just a brief overview of the things we have planned. We do have some other events planned for the rest of the month of April, such as home buyers workshops, some financial literacy sessions as well.
That's wonderful.
So as the proclamation you did just read just a moment ago, the financial literacy, we actually will recognize one of our partners, which is the Richland County Library, for the second proclamation that was read.
Y'all please stand up so
Yep.
you'll be recognized.
And then, of course, the Fair Housing Proclamation, we will also recognize our partners with the South Carolina South Carolina Human Affairs. And we have those staff members sitting over here. And so we want to celebrate everyone that's here and receive their proclamations.
Well, let's bring them all up front.
Ready, Mr. Mayor? So
I
that
am
was-
ready.
That was a whirlwind of presentations, but thank
They
you all for
all
doing that.
worthwhile.
They are. Well, we will move forward then with the consent agenda items 8 through 25. And I know that item 21, we may want to have some comment on. So I'm not sure if you want me to pull that one off or go ahead and vote. Okay. Yes, sir.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any
Oh, just comment on 20.
comments, questions, concerns? I think there's something for item 21.
Yes, if I could just get staff clarification of exactly what we're doing.
Yes, sir. Are you talking about item number 21?
Yes.
So that's in your district. It is actually a DOT safety improvement project. The bounds of that safety improvement project begin at Hazelwood, running down Kaufman Road, and it ends at Charlestown on the east side. It incorporates Hallbrook and Trailwood Lane. Because of the increased width of that intersection and the turn lanes that will be occurring, there's about 950 feet of our water line that's in the way. So we'll be having to relocate that, as well as about 1,100 feet of 8-inch gravity. During this process, this particular contract that is before you tonight is to pay for our design consultant to help us relocate it. That will be reimbursed, we expect, under the Act 36, part of the DOT assisting once water lines and sewer lines are being relocated. And then as it gets to construction, we expect that to be in contract. So we expect minimal disruption to our water customers and sewer customers.
And when will it start?
Right now, they just began the design, so we're thinking probably a year out.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank Dana.
Any further discussion or questions? Any other items? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Thank you. Our public hearing items will begin now with the first reading for zoning and planning matters, and Ms. Hampton is here to assist.
Good evening. The first item, I'll wait just a moment for the presentation to come up. Thank you. First item on your agenda this evening is an annexation, future land use map amendment, and zoning map amendment for 8352 Park Lane Road. There we are. The request is to annex the property, assign a land use classification of Community Activity Corridor, and a zoning of Community Activity Center Corridor for the pending annexation.
Ms. Herbert? Do you have any questions?
I don't. Have we heard from the public?
Is there anyone here to speak for or against this item? It's item 26.
There is no one currently signed up.
Okay. No one has signed up, Ms. Herbert.
Move for approval.
We got a motion for approval. Is there a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Item 27, annexation, future land use map amendment and zoning map amendment for 7613 Garner's Ferry Road. A request to annex the property, assign a land use classification of Urban Edge Regional Activity Center, and a zoning of general commercial district.
Is there anyone here to speak for or against this item?
There is no one signed up.
We had no one sign up. Will, this is in your district.
Yes, Mr. Mayor,
Brett?
motion to approve.
Got a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion or questions? Hearing none, seeing none. Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
28 is an annexation, future land use map amendment, and zoning map amendment for multiple addresses and parcels on Fernandina and Piney Grove Roads. It's a request to annex the property, assign a land use classification of regional activity corridor, and a zoning of general commercial district for the pending annexation.
Is there anybody here to speak for or against this item?
There is no one signed up.
There's no one signed up. District 1, Mrs. Herbert?
Mayor, I move for approval.
Got a motion for approval. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, seeing none. Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles? Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Your next case is an annexation, future land use map amendment, and zoning map amendment for 10 Bluff Road, a portion of, and 1035 Dreyfus Road, and 1025 Dreyfus, 1017 Dreyfus. This is a request to annex the property, assign a land use classification of urban core neighborhood activity center, a zoning of light industrial with portions in the floodplain.
Is there anybody here to speak for or against this item?
There is no one signed up.
I did have a question, Ms. Hampton. Staff recommendation was approval of annexation, but denial of zoning classification.
Yes, sir, and as information too, this is related to the rezoning at number 32, which is a portion that you see, it's the triangular portion that's already in the city.
Yeah.
So yes, the policy established here through the Capital City Mill District was to establish mixed-use zoning classifications in this area as opposed to light industrial. So that is where staff got that recommendation, was because it is light industrial instead of the mixed use. So a zoning classification we would look to would be either the employment campus, one of the activity centers like a community or a neighborhood. It is currently a warehouse building. Part of it is leased, the other part is not and is being marketed for sale, for lease, pardon me.
There was no one that signed up. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, seeing none. Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles? Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Item 30 is an annexation, future land use map amendment, and zoning map amendment for 1100 Sandy Oaks Road, 11.14 acre portion. It's a request to annex the property, assign a land use classification of urban edge residential small lot, and a zoning of planned development district for the pending annexation.
Do we have anyone signed up? Is there anybody here who would like to speak for or against this annexation? This is District 4, Mr. Brown.
Motion to approve.
Got a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion or questions? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert? Dr. Bustles? Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Proceeding into zoning map amendment for 1115 Green Lawn Drive. This is a request to rezone the property from residential single-family large lot to office and institutional.
Has anyone signed up to speak on this item?
Mr. Mayor, there was one individual who called in to the city clerk's office. I'm happy to read her comments if you would like me to.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
To whom it may concern, I am writing on behalf of myself, family, and neighbor, Mr. Keith, to express our strong opposition to 1115 Green Lawn Drive in Columbia, South Carolina. This is a small family neighborhood, and we are completely opposed to turning a family home into an office, institutional district, or any type of commercial property. So please do not rezone the family home. Please leave the property as is. Sincerely, Yolanda Gowns and Keith Amos.
Is there anyone here to speak for or against? Yes, sir, please.
Afternoon, Mayor. Afternoon, Councilman. I'm Keith Amos. I'm a local business owner, and I have a property across the street from such property. It is a two-story home that they're trying to get rezoned commercial, institutional. I'm not understood what the institutional part is all about, but there is mostly residents in there with small kids, and there's enough traffic off as is. The house has been on the market for probably about 8 or 9 months, and it's not selling. They're trying to get it rezoned from residential to commercial to improve the market of it. But as I say, as a business owner who works there, my neighbors have come to me and concerned the fact the amount of traffic that a commercial property would bring to the already busy area. And as I say, as a business owner who works there, I would like you guys to keep it residential, sir. Thank you.
Thank you for being here, sir.
One question for you, sir. What's the name of that business?
My business?
Yes, sir. Okay, good. I want to get your advertisement for this meeting, so.
Is there anyone else to speak? Yes, sir.
I apologize, I stepped out and I got a long-distance phone call, got drawn away. My name's John Blackman, and I'm the applicant for this. So I'm not sure what has been said before. Just to give you all a little history of myself, because Mr. Rickham knows me, but the rest of you don't. I started my career with the city government in the early 80s with the Citizens Advisory Committee for Community Development Block Grant number 4. Spent 8 years on the City of Columbia Planning Commission, which I enjoyed tremendously. So this on the surface might look like an easy question, because this looks like it's a neighborhood. There's a ditch that runs behind all 18 of those lots that are on Green Lawn. It's up to 8-10 feet wide. There's a complete barrier, excuse me. The west side of Green Lawn is an island. The right side and the write-up for the Planning Commission stated that there were several OI properties across the street, including his barbershop. The Planning Commission, I was sort of dismayed, made it sound like I was trying to create a strip mall on that whole side of the street. Well, there are a few O1s across the street, but if you see below that, there's some more O1. There are 65 acres on the east side of Green Lawn that is office and institutional. I can tell you by being at open houses at this property, the traffic on that road, it is the cut through for police, ambulances, fire trucks. We got an appraisal done, we had it under contract, and people didn't qualify, but the appraiser said it's located on a busy 4-lane road and will be hard to sell a residential house there. That's sort of humorous because it's a 2-lane road, but it feels like a 4-lane road. There are 2 operating businesses across the street. You notice there's a little purple triangle up closer to Leesburg Road. No. The other side of the street, my side of the street. It's a dentist office. Years ago, that was zoned Urban Transitional District, which we had when I was on Planning Commission, and it was for areas like Wildcat Road, behind McDonald's that cuts through to Jackson Boulevard. places that look like houses but aren't good raising kids' houses. So urban transitional, you could have a commercial business there as long as you maintain the look of a house. They did that with his dentist office. We'd like to do this with this property. And one of the things that ER,
Mr. Blackman, if you could wrap up.
okay,
Thank you.
ER2 has for its building types, land uses. Primary use is single-family detached, accessory buildings, dwelling units. Tertiary types, single-family attached, two-family, three-family, civic, institutional, small, business, employment, small, cemeteries, and mausoleums. So this is an area down the road that y'all have now classified as ER2
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
that will allow this. Thank you for your time. And I sent you an email. If you'd look at that, I'd appreciate it.
No, that is city. Yep. Mhm. Yeah, there's a preponderance of existing commercial available zoning.
On the other side, yeah. Planning Commission and staff obviously have denied this. We have not traditionally broken up a neighborhood like this, especially when there's other commercial there. I'm not sure how the dentist's office got there back in the day. Because, I mean, it's solid neighborhood around there. I'm not inclined to change that based on what I see there. I think your intent, John, is, you're trying to figure out a way to do something with it, but I don't think changing that zoning in that neighborhood is the right call when there's availability all the way across. But that's just me looking at it because we've tried to keep those interiors pretty strong. I'll open it up to anybody else on council. Comment.
Motion to deny.
There's a motion to deny. Is there any?
Second.
There's a motion and a second.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
may I ask a clarifying question, please? Krista, you said that the property borders on commercial on the other side of the road?
Yes, sir, there is commercial across the street.
And the intent of Mr. Blackman is to take the two-story house and transition that into a commercial piece of property?
It would be zoned to permit commercial uses, yes.
Is it on the same piece of I have not ridden through that property, but is that the same piece of property that has previously been zoned commercial?
No, sir. It's
That's on the
residential.
other side.
On the other,
That's on the other side.
on the other side is
Okay.
commercial, yeah. This has been residential. It's development.
Okay. That's what I need to know. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, motion and a second. Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert? Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Aye.
Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Final case on your agenda this evening is the zoning map amendment, and I'll remind you that this is related to the annexation and rezoning you heard earlier on Dreyfus. It's the back portion of one of those parcels. A zoning map amendment for 10 Bluff Road to rezone the property from Employment Campus EC within the floodplain to light industrial within the floodplain overlay.
We didn't have anybody there to speak on this before. Is there anybody else? Is there any questions on council? We got a split. Obviously, recommendation from staff is to deny this, but there's also approval from the planning commission, 5-0.
Mr. Mayor, motion to approve.
You got a motion to approve from the district representative. Is there a
Second.
second? So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Buckles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
That concludes your zoning public hearing. I will stay for the next item, though. It was a carryover, and I'll read that one. It's an annexation, future land use map amendment, and zoning map amendment for 1408 and 1412 Grove Park Lane. There was a concern, and I do believe you have someone here to speak on this item as well, and I'll be happy to answer questions after you're finished.
Is there anybody here to speak on this item? Yes, sir. Please come to the mic, state your name for the record.
Hello, City Council. I'm Gabriel Mbeng, and I'm the owner of the property on 1408 and 1412 Park Grove Lane. I'm here with my business partner, Karen Erinfomili. I'm requesting the city to approve my request for rezoning and annexation for that property. And I'm here to answer if there's any question, any concern about that request.
Ms. Herbert?
Well, I was actually going to say, so I'm Councilwoman Herbert, and we talked earlier today, but I had an opportunity to ask all of my questions earlier today.
Okay. Is there anyone else here to speak for or against this item? Ms. Herbert, is there a motion?
Yes, a motion to deny.
There was one more person signed up
Okay.
to speak. Bishop Theodore, I'm sorry. This is item 33, Karen Erinfalami. Hope I said that correctly.
Good afternoon, Councilman.
Ms. Karen, can you get on the mic there? Thank you.
Yes, my name is Karen Erinfalami. I'm here to support Mr. Bean and his rezoning. He's a great pillar of the community. He have local business here, and I would like to see his rezone take place, please.
Thank you. Is there anything else you wanted to add? You good?
Him and I are business partners. Actually, he helped me in my business 20 years ago to get started. And he helped a lot of people here in the city of Columbia. Yes,
Thank you for coming.
yes.
Thank you all for being here. I rode by the property and I had some concerns. I don't know if the lady is, not lady, but I guess the lady who was here at the last meeting had concerns about some of the calls, and we've had staff to actually look into some of the emergency calls that have come to the property. And honestly, that's just a little concerning to me, because if you come into the city, then those become our issues. And so for that reason, along with a few others, I do have to make a motion to deny this annexation.
One
Bailey?
question I would have from staff, if they can give some more information about some of those calls that Councilwoman Herbert is mentioning.
You want me, oh. Does she have it? You have it, Chris.
I don't have all of the specific calls here. It must be in my folder. There were several calls made to CPD, none of them violent, some largely nuisance calls to come out.
What type of nuisance calls, if you can expound?
Do you want me to read?
That'd be great.
So there were 3 on one day that were for fire and EMS. The note here is apparently somebody got pinned by machinery, though that does not necessarily mean an industrial use and could have been by a car. And then there were 2 reports to meet, which is a fairly general call type, and is basically when a police officer or a deputy meets someone on the site. They met on the site, but both of the cases were cleared with no report taken. And I think that's what Ms. Hampton means by nuisance calls, just calls to go out, but nothing coming out of them.
Thank you.
And these were calls to the sheriff's department, correct?
Correct.
Right, and I'm sorry, there was also 1 documented shop request through the ombudsman's office about an underweight dog on site, and animal control had to respond.
Ms. Hampton, I think Ms. Karen wanted to make a comment.
Yes, sir, please. So I would like to say, Mr. Bean, he is like a truck driver. He be out of town like a week at a time. And him and I have sit down very closely, and I asked him that he has to like get off the road or let me take over the property. I got to say this, he has a big heart, and he has to let me continue to manage the property. So things that's going on, I'm there in the city, so I can address it. The issue about the dog, there is like a dog grooming next door. So I'm not quite sure where that dog came from. I think Mr. Bean can testify that he do be on the road a lot. And like I say, we done been business partners for years. And I appreciate if y'all give him an opportunity. He's a very humble person. And, yeah.
Mr. Herbert.
You acknowledge them.
As City Council, if you have any concern, and I'm not sure exactly why you're requesting to deny my request, but I can address any particular issue or any concern that you have for that property. I know that the last meeting in here, there was my next door neighbor who came in here and opposing my annexation. I don't think that she gave any compelling reason why she opposing her, just that she stated here that she wanted to buy that property to tear it down. And I bought that property for my own use. It's not for sale. And ever since I bought that property, I have had that issue with my neighbor. If calls came from her, I'm not sure. But I'm pledging to take care of the property and meet the concern if there's any. And I'm asking if you can reconsider my request.
Thank you.
So we have a motion for denial with a second. Any other discussion?
Second.
Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles? Aye. Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
No.
Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. We will now proceed with ordinances for first reading, item number 34, ordinance number 2024-009, granting an encroachment to Subtext Acquisitions LLC for the use of the right-of-way areas of the 400 block of Blossom Street, the 400 block of Wheat Street, the 500 block of Williams Street, and the 500 block of Hugie Street for the installation and maintenance of sidewalks, landscaping, and irrigation adjacent to 408 and 436 Blossom Street and 519 Hugie Street in Richland County.
Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Got a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussions, questions, concerns? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles? Mr. Brennan?
No.
Mr. McDowell? Mayor Rickaman.
Aye.
Item 35, ordinance number 2024-010, amending the 1998 Code of Ordinances for the City of Columbia, South Carolina, Chapter 21, Stormwater Management and Sedimentation Control, Article 2, Stormwater Quantity and Quality Control, Division 6, Charges and
Motion to
Fees.
approve.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion or questions? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk, could you read the roll, please?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman.
Aye.
Item 36, ordinance number 2024-018, approval for conveyance of city property identified as Tract 401 containing .066 acre in Richland County, this is for the Carolina Crossroads project at I-126 near Lawan Drive and Arrowwood Road.
Is there a motion? You got a
So
motion? Is
moved.
there a motion and a second? Any further discussion?
I'm thinking of mid-county.
Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman.
Aye.
Item 37 is ordinance number 2024-022, approval for conveyance of city property identified as Tract 444 containing .065 acre in Richland County, also for Carolina Crossroads project at the I-26 ramp. C.
Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Any further discussions? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman.
Aye.
Item 38 is ordinance number 2024-020, consenting to the inclusion of property in a multi-county industrial business park, Colac Technologies LLC, in Richland County. And
Mr.
this
Mayor,
was
I just wanted
endorsed.
to let everyone know I'm going to recuse myself for my own economic interest in this project.
Mr. Mayor, motion to approve.
Got a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman.
Aye.
Resolutions, item 39, resolution number R 2024-014, approval for acceptance of .524 acre and the new Colonial Life sewer pump station from the South Carolina Department of Transportation for the Carolina Crossroads project along I-126 at Lawan Drive and Arrowwood Road.
To approve.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion or questions? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman.
Aye.
Event resolutions, item 40, resolution number R 2024-001, authorizing consumption of beer and wine only at the Main Street Jazz Fest powered by Cola Jazz in the
Motion to approve.
Got a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussions? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk, please read the roll.
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman.
Aye.
Item 41 is resolution number R 2024-004, authorizing consumption of beer and wine only at the Congaree Vista Guilds Artista Vista Live on Lincoln in the 1200 block of Lincoln Street between Lady Street and Gervais Street on Sunday, April the 21st, 2000.
Motion to approve.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown? Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell? Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Item 42, resolution number R 2024-005, authorizing consumption of beer and wine only at the Moore Company Spring Fling Client Appreciation on Saturday, April 13th, 2024, at the rear parking lot of 2931 Divine Street.
Is there a motion?
So move.
Second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Item 43 is resolution number R 2024-006, authorizing consumption of beer and wine and liquor at South Carolina Pride Outfest 2024 in the 1200 block of Park Street between
Motion
Gervais
to
Street.
approve.
Is there a, we have a motion, is there a second? We got a motion and a second, any further discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Item 44, resolution number R 2024-010, authorizing consumption of beer and wine only at Group Therapies Taco Therapy at the 2100 block of Green Street and 700 and 800 blocks of Pavilion Avenue on Saturday, April 13th, 2024.
Motion to approve.
Got a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, I have to admit, this is the first time I've ever seen this one. This is a new event, taco therapy. Any further discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Item 45, resolution number R 2024-013, authorizing consumption of beer and wine only within Boyd Plaza adjacent to Columbia Museum of Art for CMA's Arts and Draughts on Friday, April the 12th, 2024.
Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
We got a motion, I need a second, please. We got a second, any further discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Resolutions authorizing public input on road closures. These are simply public hearings for council's information. And any individuals that would like to speak are allotted the same 3 minutes to address city council at this time. The first item I'll read to the record, Mayor, is item 46, resolution number R 2024-015, public input on closing of a portion of Cottontown Way, also known as Gaylord Street.
Is there anybody here to speak on this item?
There is no one signed up.
Okay, and item 47 is resolution number R 2024-018, public input on closing of a portion of Gordon Street between Barnumville Road and Waverly Street.
Is there anybody here to speak for this? Please, Bishop. I see you behind there. Yeah.
Just one quick question. Is that a preacher's minute or regular minutes? Moving right along.
We give you 3 minutes and no passing of the plate, all right?
Okay. I grew up in this neighborhood and stayed there basically until I was 19 and went into the Army to serve over in Vietnam. I've seen many things that happen in our neighborhood. I've seen the fact that at one time we had people who were selling bootleg. After we bought that property and got them out, then the drug people came in. And as many of you know, that neighborhood was ran down. And so we purchased the park and tore all the buildings down. We believe today that we can better serve our community with that road closed. And what we would like to do is to ensure that no one else will come in there and do anything to hurt our children or mess up our community. There are three things that we are, as a church, so we don't need no money from none of y'all. I'm not going to pass the plate. We are looking at moving our food pantry. Mayor, you have seen that. We have over 2,000 people that comes, and it's in our church. And so we want to move it out and put a building there and make sure that the people there and the products there are safe. The other thing that we're looking at, we have a lot of elderly members and saints and elderly people. We already have two buildings already on property where we are housing them. These rents are more than affordable. The rent that they're paying is less than my light bill. And so we plan to put some more apartments down there, and also to make this a green area, an area where our community can come in there and be safe. These are some of our plans, and standing beside me is another member very close to me, my son-in-law, and we also have some other members of the congregation here who also support. One of them you probably know, and we
I
thank God.
recognize that smiling face from a mile away.
Okay, so he wants 3 minutes.
And no, I'm not talking about you, Chief.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, it's a pleasure to be here today. My name is Ron Scott, and I attend Progressive Church, where I've been a member since my birth, and also have the privilege of representing the church's legal counsel. But I stand here today more so as a child who grew up in that neighborhood. In Gordon Street, the particular block we're talking about, was a magnet for drugs. Some job of cleaning up the area, and the hopes to come will certainly better the community. And so we are very hopeful for council's consideration and support of what we think will better the community, and we appreciate the consideration today.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you both for being here, and obviously I'd like to take the opportunity to thank you for what you do for the community. If you haven't had an opportunity to see their pantry in action, it's a pretty amazing machine that's moving a lot of people through. But the improvements that the church has done in that neighborhood and been a pillar there, and we appreciate it. Thank you for what you're doing. It's important work, and I appreciate what y'all do. Got to see it over the holidays, and it was pretty amazing. A lot of great people, the school district involved there too, making sure kids get books as well. So it wasn't just food, there was books, and there was folks there to help anybody who needed help. So it's a full service drive-through for lack of a better description, but we appreciate y'all being here. Obviously, we don't take action on this, but we hear you loud and clear.
Thank you kindly.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Reverend McDowell. Keep thinking
Yeah,
the
just
Lord's
wanna
talking
say-
to me.
Pardon me?
Yes, sir.
Just want to say a complimentary word. Some years ago, a few years ago, when we did have houses in that area, I was a part of and saw the progress that was made when they were torn down. They were asbestos related, and other activities was taking place on that piece of property. It was then that I had an opportunity to visit our food pantry there with Chief Jenkins. And of course, since the buildings has been demolished, that piece of property brings new life to Bonneville Road. And Bishop, it would certainly be our pleasure to see that this kind of consideration be given, and that we continue to grow in that particular part of our city. Thank you, sir, for what you've done.
Thank you, Reverend McDowell.
Just one other
Yes,
thing,
sir.
Preacher, we got one more thing. We also do clothing. Oh, I'm
Mike.
sorry. We also do clothing appliance and everything. So with the expansion, we'll be able to do, give more clothing and get more appliances, lawnmowers, we can get lawnmowers and all that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Madam City Manager?
Oh, I'm sorry.
At this time, Mayor, we will move into a period of city council reports, referrals, and new business.
Do we have any referrals or reports? Dr. Oddity? Bustles?
So I just wanted to give a brief update on our last Health, Social, and Environmental Affairs Committee. We focused mostly on potential partners for some of our animal services programs, with a major focus on looking at the ways in which we can continue to revamp our licensing program. Staff has continued to keep us up to date on that, and we look forward to seeing what the proposed changes will be after we are able to hopefully align with Richland County's animal services team as well, because one of the things that the committee really stressed was that if we were going to make any changes to the pet licensing program, it would have to be in tandem with the county, given that most of our surrendered pets come from the county. And then in addition to that, I have two referrals. I'd like to refer to this committee an update on PFAS and an update on the tree planting program that the city has. We had some questions arise at a neighborhood about how we decide where and what trees are planted. So I'd like to make a motion to refer an update on PFAS and the tree planting program for the city for the Health, Social, and Environmental Affairs Committee.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
You got a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman?
Aye. Do we know when that meeting will be? Because I have a big interest in PFAS.
We typically meet the last Tuesday at 1 p.m.
We'll get the notifications out to Mr.
Is there any other reports or new business? With that, Madam City Manager, go to public input.
Yes, sir. Any individuals are allotted up to 3 minutes to address city council about matters not on the agenda. The items that required a public hearing have already been addressed.
Yeah, anyone signed up?
First, we have Ms. Diane Wiley.
You got your hair done, Miss Wiley. I didn't recognize you back there.
This is not done. Hey, how y'all doing? You know, no, this is not done. Thank you.
Well,
But
it's
anyway,
different than the last time I saw
don't
you.
change the subject. Stop. I'm gonna address this now. A lot of times I want to say things and everybody gone. You understand? Redo that over. He messed up the 15 seconds. Okay, I'm really upset about what happened this weekend. We had 11 shootings this weekend. That gun control, I want to know what I can do to get our neighborhoods back to where it's supposed to be. 11 in 4 days? That's unacceptable.
It's
And
a
that
community problem.
open law where you can carry a gun, and it's mainly our black boys. Chief, where's Chief? I feel for you. I feel for you and Sheriff Lott. I feel for everybody, but that should not happen. Mr. McDowell, you hear me? Can he hear me? That shouldn't happen.
No, it should.
Yes, ma'am, I hear you loud and clear.
I can't hear you. Okay, but all across Columbia, I mean, the news was just really bad. 11, 5 points. And then what made it so bad, they tried to hide it. It was on the news, came on my phone. That's unacceptable. And that club, that's the second time somebody done got shot at that club, the strip club. Unacceptable. Is the plan to kill up our black boys? Is that the plan?
I don't know, you'd have to ask them. They're the ones doing the shooting, not us.
Well, where they getting the guns from? When I was that age, I wasn't thinking about a gun. This law got to be stopped.
Well, I think the
No,
problem is
I know
what
it's
happened
nothing
this
you,
weekend is
yeah, but
not
I
the
know it's
law.
nothing you can do, but we
No,
can
there
do
is, we can
something.
do. We've got to come together as a community and talk frankly and address that issue together and make sure that we're getting to kids when they're younger, teach people how to deal with conflict. But this takes the churches, the parents, law enforcement. I mean, people, places, and behavior give us the three places that we know. But we got to do that. We talked about this Sunday at the NAACP meeting on Sunday, was a majority of the conversation we had is around gun violence and
But it
changing
shouldn't have
it.
never passed.
Look, I don't
I
disagree.
was in the
with
grocery
you.
store this
I
week.
don't disagree with you,
Yeah.
but that didn't change what happened. Those folks went into whatever caused that over today. It's not even about theft or anything else. It's just disrespect in others. I mean, the shooting that we heard 2 hours before the meeting that the sheriff shared with us on the radio is probably retaliation. I can't say that for sure, but that's my guess.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I think everybody up here is with you. And I think as a community, we want to change it. And it's unfortunate that it's young males, but we got to figure out how do we help them not make that decision? How do we make sure that everybody has an opportunity for a job, a safe place to live, and that we hold people accountable, because we can't keep letting people out. That's not helping either. If there's no penalty to the crime, then people are going to keep doing it. I'm with you. And we're going to continue to do everything we can. And our director of violence prevention is out there pushing together. Our parks folks are planning things for kids in the summer, but we got to get folks back engaged, and the church and parents and the community are a big part of it. We only can do so much, so we got to come together. 100% agree with you.
I'm willing to help.
Any life lost there's no excuse.
I'm willing to help. I was in the grocery store the other day and got my buggy, and when I got ready to push, there was a man had a big gun, and I hit him. I said, "Oh, I'm sorry." The man could have shot me. You know, it's ridiculous. It's just like we going back to cowboy Indian town. Just shoot them up. It's unacceptable.
It is.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Wiley, I appreciate you coming to council and sharing this with us, because it wasn't really highly covered in the news, and there was a black woman who also was killed at near Vegas Nights or afterwards. So it is a real problem. I think that we do need to do something about it. And I'm raising 2 black boys in this community, and I grew up here, and I lost a lot of friends myself. So just remain vigilant. I think we should still try to be optimistic, to work where we can, and still pray too, because it's a problem in our culture, and the legislator pretty much ratified that by saying open carry, no training. And so hopefully things don't get worse, but we have to come together and do something.
I called down there to ask, could I come down there to speak? They said you have to go through this and go through that. But I'm gonna go down there, If I can go to these meetings, I'm getting ready to go to everybody meeting. If you're not doing right, I'm gonna bring you out. That's all to it. It's ridiculous. You scared to do anything. I remember time right on King Street, we could leave our doors open. It was so hot, we didn't have air conditioning. We slept on the porch. Right on 1010 King, that was where I grew up at.
But, but that's part of what we got to rebuild is the fabric in our communities. You go to neighborhoods today, most people don't know their neighbors. We all knew our neighbors. You got in trouble by your next door neighbor, and then you got it twice at home.
Yeah.
But people today are afraid to correct anybody doing it. We've got to change the culture, and we got to do that together. So
I had to say, but I had my
I'm
list
just gonna
of
let you
all
know
the
that
ones.
these folks here are committed.
Yeah, but Chief, I feel for you. I really do. Because you don't know whether he gonna pull a gun out on you, you know, and whatnot. I feel for you. That's a hard job. That's a hard job.
That man takes it personally because he doesn't believe that anybody should lose their life. And he has to make that phone call. He has to call us. He's got to call the school when a kid witnesses that, like they did on Bailey Street. How do you think those kids are going to do in school on Monday?
They're not gonna do good.
They're not.
Yeah. But I go to a couple of schools and help out. They be asking me to come in, especially, I buy you lunch, Ms. Wiley. I go in this classroom, hey, sit down. They be, sometimes, you know, they just need somebody. They think I'm a grandmama, you know, because I could wear a wig when I go. But, you know, they need that love. There's a lot of kids out there, and they need grown-ups like us to go down there and say something or help them.
But thank you for what you continue to do for your neighborhood and for this city.
Yeah, I'm gonna be out here now.
I know you will.
Bye, and thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Mayor, we do have several others who've signed up to speak. We can keep going with those, but just when you're ready, Reverend Councilman McDowell had a referral and he didn't get to do that. Yes, sir. They just let us know.
Well, let's take that now.
Okay.
Reverend McDowell, would you like to give your referral, please?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, if I could refer the proclamation piece and the key to the city, if we would refer that to the Administrative Policy Committee.
Yes, sir. Is there a second? Second. Got a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
And Mr. Mayor, one more referral. There was recently an article in the Post and Courier concerning the busted plug. As you know, that was on, I believe, Taylor Street. And there's been a lot of questions from the community wanting to know where that plug is going to go. So I would love to see
We don't know that yet.
possibly an update regarding just plans with the busted plug to the Arts, Historic Preservation, and Philanthropy Committee.
And can we put on that the plug relocation is going to be sponsored by the Bailey Law Firm?
Don't put that part on. Let's make sure that's not on the record.
Hey, I'm trying to give your business a plug. Isn't that what you said earlier?
I'll second
I appreciate
that.
Mr. Mayor. Yeah.
I got a second on that.
In arts, historic preservation?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
We got a motion and a second. So Madam Clerk, when you get a second.
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman?
Aye. Madam Clerk, excuse me.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Next to the podium, we have Wade Fulmer.
I'll let you know.
Hello. I am continuing regarding animal control, non-enforcement nuisance barking, and the withholding of evidence from city legal. Why are the facts and questions presented since October important? Have you somehow ever known of the victims of non-enforcement of health, well-being, and quality of life code? Victims of rule of law non-enforcement. Many passed by victims I have known. A part of my career job in advocacy often led me there. The code for health and order is a necessity. It's only as good as enforcement and transparency. When victims and code are an inconvenience to bureaucracy, there must be questions, response, not chain delays and no answers. Council first referred me to Public Works, then later to Health and Quality and Life Committee, then justifiably to City Legal for investigative scrutiny, and I appreciate that. Yet the 2 weeks to work on, proposed by Public Works initially, is now 5 months since the October council meeting. I believe and know that the city is better than and the lady was just talking about, the State House ruling caucuses. Let us be determined and hopeful that the city will do grit and transparency, truth of failed bureaucracy, answers to victims and system questions, and assure corrections of animal control non-enforcement of code. The questions again are as follows. Who of animal control withheld the Columbia Police Department provided accumulated evidence from city legal, thus the court? Who stopped animal control from code enforcement ticketing of the 2 after February barking incidents seen and documented by Columbia Police Department, and why? Related to the guns, a non-option might be, even with the dogs, tongue-in-cheek, transfer animal control to the state. Perhaps the Donald Henry's barking caucuses could enact another of their reckless permitless, allow noise barking dogs to stand their ground, and untrained guns to act as backup for their barkers. I will close with this.
Thank you, Mr. Fulmer.
It'll be over and it's going to. It's much louder when the house is next door. And you're listening to this for 4 hours, as I did after it took 17 months for a first ticket. If any of you would like to leave your addresses, I'll come to your house and I'll play this after you get to sleep and let you experience what I did off and on for 2 years and nothing was done for 17 months. Thank you again. I'll be back with some recoup next time and to point out some great work that the police department did and dispatch did that was not acted on by animal control. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Sorry about that.
Next, we have Mr. Don Ernest.
Might not be here.
After that, we have Athena Leventis, or Leventis.
She must have left.
Okay. Ben Kelly.
Having a hard time with the penmanship here. Sorry, maybe. It starts with an H, I believe. First name, last name starts with an M. Living on Lambert Street, perhaps 4003.
Is that Mr. Munson?
Yeah. Is it Mr. Munson?
That would be Lyman Munson.
Thank you. I
My
apologize.
hand scratching,
You know, I was
excuse me.
about to guess that
Yeah.
because I thought I saw you here, but I didn't want to take the chance.
Well, sorry about that.
Sorry, sir.
Thank you, and I'm here on behalf of Hyatt Park Keenan Terrace Neighborhood Association. And really a very happy time for us to hear that Hyatt Park is getting some more improvements. And I think everybody at our neighborhood association meeting last night, Dr. Bustles, thank you for being there, was happy one of our members that in reading the proceedings today that you were going to vote on a new scoreboard, new bleachers, tear down that cement block building, all at the baseball park. And also, probably more importantly, that you're going to vote on getting a design done for a playground. And this is on for about 1.5 years when we realized in the earlier phases of Hyde Park renovation, there wasn't really any place for kids to play. The old playground stuff had been, when they daylighted the creek that runs down through the park now, they took those pipes and they put them out in the field, and those became sort of places where kids could play. It didn't really work. And so we're very excited playground and that you're going to let a contract to Mashburn to design it. This is what we have in mind. We want the neighborhood association people who are parents, who have a background and want to be directly involved in the planning of the park playground area. We understand Mashburn's going to design it, and the city manager will approve the design. Little community interaction in that, and we hope that as part of your approval of that spending of money, that there would be a reach out to those neighborhood leaders who would like to be involved in the design of the.
Share those, have somebody share with the city manager who those folks may be that have an interest.
Well, that would be great. And other than that, there's one other thing. This is the third phase, and this has been going on since 2008. And, you know, for a long time, we just talked about it. It's in next year's budget. And Councilman Davis was on the councilman, he would come to our neighborhood association and really get beat up about no progress. Well, it's in next year's budget. Well, Sam, that's what you said last year. And so finally, it happened. In 2022, it happened. And now the ballpark has been, is going to be completed. So what the message is, when are we going to get our fence? When is it going to really be a park? When can people walk in the park and feel secure? Right now, I was talking to my wife about this, and I said, would you walk in the park? She said, absolutely not. I said, why not? She said, it's not safe. I said, well, what if there's nobody there? You feel safe? She said, somebody could just stop on North Main, get out of a car, see me walking. Just walk over into the park and, bother me. And so I really think the completion of the park by adding a fence and the landscaping that turns it into a park rather than just sort of a big open space would be, and a plan to do that and a timing to do that would really be, just to finish it off right. Been going on for a long time, and I think people are really ready for it to be finished.
Well, your timing's perfect because we're starting our budget discussions.
Well, and we know there's a new budget coming up. This is surprise money. We know this is some other kind of money, that mid-year money, and we're appreciative of that it came our way. But we'd really like to finish up.
Thank you for coming, and we're getting that meeting set on that other issue.
Sounds good.
So
right.
I'll let you know when they set, but they've reached out, so.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Thank you,
all.
Lyman.
Thank you.
Was there anyone else who wanted to address council? Hearing none, seeing none, I will entertain a motion to go in executive session. So,
Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to enter into executive session for discussion, receipt of legal advice relating to a pending, threatened, or potential claim pursuant to SC Code 30-4-70A2, Albert Black versus City of Columbia, as well as receipt of legal advice which relates to matters covered by attorney-client privilege pursuant to SC Code 30-4-70A2, closing of Gordon Street, closing of Cottonwood Way, Loomis Fiber of South Carolina LLC franchise agreement, remote meetings, as well as discussion of negotiations incident to propose contractual arrangements pursuant to SC Code 30-4-70A2 DMH surplus property.
We have a motion? Got a second? Any further discussion? Hearing none, seeing none. Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bussell?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman?
Aye. We'll be going downstairs.